Over the years, I've collected many drawing books, but there are a handful that I come back to time and time again when it comes to drawing faces and figures. And that's what we're going to go over today. Today I have 6 books that I love to look at. There's probably 7 actually, that I am inspired by. Some are teaching books and some are just artist books, but all of them hold a special place in my heart when it comes to learning how to draw faces and figures. So today I invite you to grab a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, and join me as I go over my top favorite books for drawing faces and figures. The first book I have been focusing on lately is called The Natural Way to Draw, and this was published in 1941, and it was published 2 years after this artist passed away. So he apparently had this book for 2 years, and he never published it, and it was not published until after he passed away, I think in 1938. But imagine, this is one of the most influential books ever written when it comes to drawing in general, but for me specifically drawing figures more than faces. It's a book that is broken up into 64 different exercises to help you with drawing and sketching, and it's meant to be done over the course of a year. This book itself is organized into 64 chapters, and each chapter is a different exercise to help you improve your drawing skills. It's organized as, it's meant to be done over a year, and it's progressive, so each exercise builds on top of each other, and it helps you with your observational skills, loosening up with your drawing, and the main emphasis too with this book is about gesture drawing. So a lot of it is exercises that help you discover your own natural way of drawing, but also really loosening up. Even though this book was published in 1941, it's relevant today. So if you can grab yourself a copy of this book in the thrift store or online, I highly recommend it. I got this book originally and donated it because I don't think I was ready for these lessons. And now, years on, I am ready to dive into this whole year-long course. The second book that I recommend is called The Sourcebook of Contemporary Fashion Design. This is one of my all-time favorite books. I love this book. I've had it for years, and I remember I got it for $10 at the bookstore, and it's one of my absolute favorites. I've talked about this book before simply because I use it often in my videos. I always come back to it, but this book, it showcases some of the top fashion designers and their illustrations. And you can see how every fashion designer basically takes their own style, of course, but they all take a picture and make it into their own style. They're not copying exactly what they see. And I think that's just something in this day and age we all need to remember, is that sketches are not meant to be a perfect representation of whatever it is you're looking at. If you put your own spin on it and stick to your own drawing style and discover your own drawing style, then what happens is magic. And you can see this in every single sketch from every single fashion designer in this book. And this is another book, again, that I went over in my Patreon, and we practiced drawing from, being inspired by this book. We take something like this and try to draw it in our own way, similar to what these fashion illustrators have done. There's nothing better than looking at the art of others who have their own unique style of drawing. I love the way these faces were drawn, and I love the way they take the freedom they have with creating however they want. And I love this. Dreams for me are in the evenings, special evenings, relaxing in Ireland on the beach. Now, this artist, oh wow, look at this. This is the artist, But there's so many different fashion designers in this book, as well as their websites are listed. So the book is kind of old. Let's see, what year is it? I think it was, let's see, 2011. And by Harper Design, and it's called The Sourcebook of Contemporary Fashion Design. One of my absolute favorites. I'm so glad I kept this book, because a lot of times I'll get books and then I will donate them later. If I don't use it all the time, I donate it. The third book is one of my, I don't know if I will ever achieve this level of, her drawings, Anna Kiper, which I've referenced her books before. Her drawings are magical, and this book sort of teaches you fashion design and how to draw the figure as a fashion illustrator. So it's the 10 head croquet, if I'm saying that right. It's the 10 head one where the body is divided into 10 and each one is the length of the head for fashion illustration. And then she just walks you through how to draw figures, and she walks you through how to draw faces. Her faces and the way she draws eyes are incredible. I highly recommend this. I've had this book. I'll go back and see what year it was published, but I mean, wow. Wow, everything about this book is magical. Okay, here's how she teaches you how to draw like a side profile and eyes. Like, look at those eyes, they're magical. And it's funny because we all have our own unique art style, and the goal isn't to draw exactly as they teach, because it's impossible, because your own style will naturally flow through. But the way she draws eyes and the way she draws lips, everything, I just love it all. So this is a fabulous book, and if you can get your hands on it, I highly recommend this book. I've had it, oh, let's see, what year was it published? Everything about her art is magical. Okay, what year was this book published? Oh, 2011. It looks like I was on a kick for buying books in 2011, and one of the things I've said is I don't see a lot of books like this anymore. Absolutely fantastic book. Book number 4 is called The Artist's Guide. The Artist's Guide to Human Anatomy, an illustrated reference to drawing people. I just love these sketch marks. Sometimes I like a book just to look at it, just to look at how someone else draws. Like, I love the study in hands. Just incredible pictures and examples in here, and a breakdown again of how to draw basically human anatomy. I can't show all the images that are included in this book, but this is a guide to human anatomy and figure drawing, and I absolutely love this book, and I absolutely love all the drawings and sketches in it. Another book that I have that I really, really love is this one. This one I found at the thrift store, and it's called Sketching and Drawing. I'm not sure how to pronounce this artist's name, so we'll just give you a close-up there. I'm so enamored with these incredible drawings. The side profiles, the hair, just, I don't know, I think there's something beautiful about his color choices. And again, this is sort of like, you know, this was 1990s, so like a lot of the 80s shines through here, and who doesn't love this? Who doesn't love the 80s? But his artwork is beautiful. So a lot of this is poses, not a lot of writing in here, but again, if you're looking for a study on how to draw, this is a great book for that. And look, lots of side profiles, which I think is something that a lot of people are interested in, and lots of information on drawing clothing and painting clothing. He breaks it all down, and he has pictures or poses on the left and sort of how he drew it on the right, with little tips. This is one of my all-time favorites. I absolutely love this book. I was so happy to find this in the thrift store. Look at that. Beautiful. because I don't see a lot of books anymore in the bookstore that are reminiscent of what I'm showing you now. A lot of the books I get are from vintage bookstores or thrifts called In Focus, and it is the National Geographic. Basically, if you're looking for beautiful portraits, look at that. If you're looking for beautiful portraits to be inspired by, like there's so many amazing photos in this book. There's so many different things that you can gather inspiration from. Look at this. I love this. And there's a story to every photo. A lot of it is a photographer sharing the stories behind these photos that they've taken. I don't think there's a lot to say other than these are beautiful portraits and each one has a story behind it, but also you can practice drawing them, getting inspiration from the color palette of each portrait, and learn the story behind each one of these photos. I recommend finding different books that inspire you. It doesn't have to be a lesson book. It can also be a book of portraits. You can even get National Geographic magazines or magazines that have portraits. You could get fashion magazines if you want. This is just one that I happened to find, and it's filled with photos and stories. Here is my most loved book that I reference time and time again, and it's called Illustrated Now Fashion, and you can see it's just well loved. I remember this book was like $50 at the time that I bought it, and that's a lot for someone who's a big thrifter. Published in 2013, and that goes along with the time where I was buying some really fantastic books, like I said, that I just don't see anymore. But this book here just goes through the history of fashion illustration, similar to the first book that I showed you, but this one goes in depth and showcases different illustrators. And it's just an inspirational book filled with all sorts of drawings of faces and figures, and it's a great way to find inspiration, but also to again see that people have their own way of drawing, and that's okay to have your own unique style. And we're not here to try to draw like everyone else. We're here to learn and discover our own style of drawing and sort of uncover that. And that's why I have a selection of different books. And if I don't love the book after I buy it, then I will often donate it. But I find it interesting how I donated that first book that I'm circling back to right now, called The Natural Way to Draw. But I do have one other book. Can't believe I wasn't going to show you this one. This one is called Fashion Drawing in Vogue. It's one of my all-time, this is my absolute favorite book, my #1 pick if there's any books. Now this isn't for how to draw figures, it's not teaching you how to draw figures, but it's the history of fashion drawing in Vogue. And it goes all the way back. And it just talks about the history throughout the decades, and you can see all the different styles of drawing, and there's really something magical about fashion illustration, specifically in my opinion in the 40s, 50s, 60s. These two here are two of my all-time favorite drawings. I love this one. I remember I've recreated all of these in my own style. I have used this book time and time again as a reference for drawing. Fashion Drawing in Vogue by William Packer. And it was published in 1983, and this is one of my thrift store finds. And it's actually faded quite a bit, you could see. I also had a book on top of it, and it faded, so the cover faded quite a bit, but it just goes throughout every decade. So 1923 to 1934, and it talks about, Art Deco and the artists of fashion illustration at that movement, and it just goes from decade to decade to decade, and the drawings in it are like spectacular. These are my all-time I guess 8. Did I do 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Okay, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I meant to do 6, but I did 8. I could. These are my all-time favorite books. They are in my studio. I take them out all the time. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have a recommendation for a book, please let me know. Also, let me know what kinds of videos are you looking for on this channel so that I could plan even more. If you're looking for additional content, please feel free to look into my YouTube membership or my Patreon. I would love to see you there. I hope you all have a wonderful day and happy sketching.